The year was 1957 when USSR sent a small metallic ball in space. This was an artificial satellite named Sputnik. It remained in orbit for almost 3 weeks. This was a historical moment for us because we had never sent anything in space before that. This was the beginning of a new space race. Everyone wanted to have the supremacy, and that's why, one after another, new spacecrafts and rockets were launched. Some of them couldn't start their journey, but some made it so far that it's impossible for them to come back now. These 5 spacecrafts are the most distant object we have ever sent from Earth. This is New Horizon, which was launched in 2006. It's the fifth most distant spacecraft ever sent from Earth. It's almost 57 AU, astronomical unit far from Earth. 1 AU is 150 million kilometers, which is the average distance between Sun and the Earth. New Horizon was the first spacecraft which provided closer pictures of Pluto. Before that, we had these pictures of Pluto, but when it made a flyby in 2015, it captured and sent high-resolution pictures of Pluto. It revealed a surprisingly diverse landscape with mountains, plains, and glaciers. It provided insight into Pluto's atmosphere and geological activity. On January 1, 2019, New Horizon conducted a flyby of Kuiper Belt object Arrokoth, the most distant object ever visited by a spacecraft. It's still drifting in Kuiper Belt. Next one is Pioneer 11, which is 111 astronomical units far from Earth. It was launched in 1923 to study outer solar system. It was the first spacecraft to make a close flyby of Saturn. It captured clear, high-resolution images of Saturn. It discovered 2 new moons of Saturn. It also discovered a new ring, the F ring, which is located inside the main rings of Saturn. It was the first spacecraft to capture closest images of Saturn moon's Titan. After leaving Saturn, Pioneer 11 headed out of the solar system in the direction center of galaxy Sagittarius. Pioneer 11 carries a gold anodized aluminum plate depicting a man and woman and symbol designed to provide information about the spacecraft to any potential extraterrestrial intelligence that might find it. In 1995, it sent its last signal, and no further contact could be established. This is Pioneer 10, which is the third most distant spacecraft ever sent from Earth. It's almost 134 AU far from Earth. It was launched in 1972, 2 years earlier than Pioneer 11. Till now, only 3 spacecrafts have ever entered interstellar space, and Pioneer 10 is one of them. If we want to escape and go beyond the gravitational boundary of Sun, then we need a minimum velocity that is known as escape velocity. Pioneer 10 was the first spacecraft to achieve that velocity. At one point, it was traveling at the speed of 100,000 km per hour, which was the highest speed at that time. Pioneer 10 was the first spacecraft to pass through the asteroid belt. It worked for almost 30 years, and in 2003, it sent its last signal. We didn't get any signal after that, although many attempts were made to establish contact, but none of them could be successful. This is Voyager 2, which was launched in 1977. It's almost 135 AU far from Earth. In 2023, it surpassed Pioneer 10 and became the second most distant spacecraft ever sent from Earth. Except Mars, it has visited almost every major planet of our solar system, and it's the only spacecraft to do so. When it made a flyby of Jupiter in 1929, it provided high-resolution images which revealed the atmosphere and the great red spot of Jupiter. It also discovered new moons. In 1986, it visited Venus, and it's the only spacecraft till now to visit Venus. There is very interesting power supply used in Voyager 2, which is known as RTGS. It converts the heat generated by radioactive decay of atom into electricity. It's so wonderful technology that it's still working, and that's why we are still able to contact Voyager 2. It has a golden disk attached to it, which carries information about our solar system and us human beings. It has left our solar system and traveling in interstellar space, but it's not bound to any particular star, and that's why, for thousands of years, it will keep drifting in space. This is Voyager 1, which is almost 162 AU far from Earth. It's the most distant spacecraft ever sent from Earth. It was launched 70 days later than Voyager 2 in 1927. But despite that, it surpassed every spacecraft launched before that and became the most distant man-made object ever sent from Earth. On August 25, 2012, it left the solar system and entered interstellar space. It was the first spacecraft to do that. Voyager 1 is considered a very successful mission. It was designed to work for just 5 years, but nobody had ever expected it would keep working even after 45 years of launch. is still in our contact and transmitting signal. On 14 Feb 1990, when it was near Saturn, it captured one of the most iconic images in our history, the pale blue dot. This tiny particle that you are seeing suspended in sunlight is not a random dust particle. It's us, our Earth, which looks like a tiny sand particle as seen from here. This picture shows how vast the universe and how small we are. Voyager 1 is still traveling in interstellar space, and the trajectory it's going on, it won't collide with anything for thousands of years. But its batteries are dying, and soon it will send its last signal. And after that, it will get lost in the vast, empty darkness of the universe forever.